Hey everyone, it's March 16th. We got some scans that we go over on the weekend. Let's dive into these quick little list of stocks. So we got TRVI here, got this big gap up, multiple day consolidation. Ideally yesterday would have been the day as it got some strength off the VWAP on the opening drive. Trade that or look for that VWAP continuation into the end of the day. So perhaps maybe if this doesn't gap up on us, it actually will just pull back in to this month-to-date VWAP, maybe undercut these lows right here, undercut these lows, and then get some strength here towards the end of the day, and then get back to a push into this premises here. So you can see that previous high, if it doesn't gap up to there, if it gaps up to there, maybe it will do something like this. Where it actually would gap up, pull back to that 2-day VWAP area, the gap VWAP, and then maybe read it into that previous high and for a break of $8. So that's a potential scenario. And if the daily VWAP on this situation would look something like this, and get involved later in the days, you get a little shakeout, buyers step up, consolidation at the daily VWAP, push into this previous daily high, look for a new high, look for some little steam pullback, and then really get going. So that's TRVI here. Let's get into this LX. So LX here had a big day, got earnings coming up on Tuesday. So big 16% day. So ideally would want this one to calm down for a day or two, pull back into this 2-day, 3-day VWAP area, digest, and then maybe creep up. So we get like a nice little inside day, close towards the high day, and then maybe towards, and then get that push for a break into that $11, $11.50 region. Something like that. Not a price target, it's just higher. But you just would, maybe that round number would be a potential area supply could be released. So that's a scenario on LX because it is ran so much, it could just keep going. But ideally would look for inside day, and then on Tuesday look for a break above for that push. ALHC. Here we're looking for, we got this big gap up on earnings, got some consolidation, pulled back to the gap VWAP, undercut it a little bit, got a rising 20-day moving average, rising 50-day moving average. We could see we had this pullback too, and on earnings it rallied. So it's now digesting these gains. Perhaps maybe this ends up being a head, shoulder. So maybe that as we get this little shakeout here and get some strength, that could be our shoulder. Or maybe this is it right here, and we're looking for price to get above 1590 with a stop under this 1527 region. Maybe even put a stop underneath this low right here at 1506, 2 cents underneath that low. But you got the 5-day moving average. This makes the most sense to me. Is you get the little undercut of the 5-day moving average, potentially could get back above and then get some strength. If it breaks down, it's probably poised to come back and see some further profit taking, potentially down into this region here or into this gap fill, which this is what it would look like on the daily chart. So that's the potential play for ALHC. Let's get into EH here. You can see here's got this nice run up on the daily time frame. Nice little consolidation flag. So we recently got this retest of the year-to-date VWAP that's holding, and we're flirting with the year-to-date VWAP high. So we just had this nice big explosion, 11%. So you can see the 5-day moving average here is starting to flatten out. So you got this rally to a new high above this flat to rising 5-day moving average. But where did it just come from? It's up 11%. So again, ideally this just pulls back to this 2-day, maybe 3-day VWAP region, and then get some strength back above the daily VWAP, and that could fuel the push back up, and we could get some strength breaking above this year-to-date VWAP high and potentially trading back into that 26.70 region, and then maybe back up into that $29 region, create a new all-time high into 30. Well, not all-time high, but is it? Yeah, not no all-time high, but a new high into that $30 region. So we got FUTU. So we have, this looks just like the other chart actually. It's breaking above that year-to-date VWAP. So we got this 5-day moving average that's flattening out now, right? With barcoding underneath it, gapped above the 5-day moving average on Friday, got some strength, pulled back VWAP continuation towards the end of the day. So ideally, maybe this just pulls back to that 2-day VWAP, undercuts, gets some longs frustrated, comes back for some strength, and then we could get some continuation for the rest of the week. So ideally, we'd be looking for this, come back to this 113 region, get back above 117, stop under 113, purchase above this, basically above this high into 120, and then we could look to see if this could trade back into this 127, 130 region. And okay, just had a big gap up here. It's only up $2.50. It was up to 2.5%, so it's not too big of a move. So we had this multi-day consolidation and gapped up. So ideally, we'll see if this holds the 2-day, gets back above the daily, and maybe could trade and get some upside continuation. If it breaks underneath this low, it's probably poised to come back down into this prior week VWAP and potentially even this month-to-date VWAP, where you could see on the daily time frame there's a really nice consolidation range. So perhaps this is where this price has, if it fails, has a magnet to come back to, undercut this, and then maybe be able to build some strength to create that push into further upside. We got BEKE here, another great push off the 20-day moving average, gapped above the year-to-date VWAP. So we could see here, gapped above the 5-day moving average. Don't chase the gap, wait for the VWAP, get back above here, trade that into the higher day. So that was a nice trade above a gap above the 5-day. On Monday, we'll be removing all of this data, and if price is sustaining in here, then we have potential gap above the intermediate trend here. So perhaps this digests for Monday, and then Tuesday we could buy above this high at 24.47 with a stop at 23.84. NEM. We're diving into NEM here. We got this push, recent pullback to the 50-day moving average. 20-day moving average is declining. 1, 2, 3, 4. In 4 periods on the daily chart, the data will start to drop off. So I would actually love for this to pull back slightly over the next couple of days and give that time for that 20-day moving average to settle down and get some rotation here. And what I'm talking about is maybe get that 20-day moving average to get flat to rising as the data drops off 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's really coming at the end of the trading week. So maybe this pushes up even a little further into this high and then get some profit taking. And then Wednesday, Thursday, it could settle down. This 20-day moving average will start to rise, as if we do get that push and consolidate up in here, and then by next week, by Friday, we'll drop under and we'll be adding new data, and this 20-day moving average will be rising. So that's a potential look right there. And then we have last here, BABA. So Baba's had this extreme run here, 81% in 37 trading days. And since that, it's been pulling back and digesting these gains, holding above this year-to-date VWAP. So we could see it's a lot of barcoding right now. Potentially, I guess, the lowest risk setup. It's not as much low risk because the prices ran so much, you kind of miss the station here. But maybe it flushes down, tags these stops to the 2-day, gets 3-day, gets back above the 2-day and daily VWAP, and then can fuel a push back into this 145. And, maybe that's going to, I don't know what will be different this time. It's been having some trouble with this 145. I think it would need a little bit more digestion, come back to this year to date, carve out a nice higher low to then build the energy to break that, but it could just keep going. So hopefully this was helpful.